Yo, okay, so it's 4 a.m. on a Tuesday. Um, I'm on break from college finally, and I was like, you know what I've been obsessed with? GACHIAKUTA. And I have been binging it, y'all. I watched the sub. But then like after the second episode, I switched to the dub. But then I was like, oh my god, the dub takes like forever to come out. So I switched back to sub. So I've literally watched all episodes of the sub and the dub. Watch it in dub. And then I was like, I need more. So I literally picked up the manga, and I'm actually not done with the manga yet. So I am happy about that. I be sleeping at night. I be happy because I'm so happy I can wake up and read more Gachi Akata. Um, Let me preface this by saying, it's 4 a.m. I'm not about to go through any notes or anything. Y'all, I'm straight yapping and glazing about Gachi Akata until I feel like not, but I think I'm gonna do anime only right now, like what's been animated, and then I'll do more videos on like the manga, cause y'all, if you haven't read the manga, so much happens in the manga. Like, well, duh. I was about to say it's like a whole nother story. No, it's just a whole nother arc. But y'all, it's like it continues on the things that we're on in the anime right now because as this is being recorded, episode 20 of the sub has been out, right? And that's the episode with the car. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. But let's see. The car with Bro, Deer, and if I say anyone's name wrong, y'all, give me a break. But I shouldn't. But Deer, Bro, and the one guy that looks like a cowboy, whose name I forgot. Y'all, I know from the Raiders, I know Jabber. I know Jabber, and I think the boss's name is like, it is not Zoloft, right? I don't know. But I know what they look like, I just don't know their names. But I know Jabber because that's Jabber. We'll get into him. He's a whole topic. Um, when I say I love him, I mean I love thinking about him as like a character and stuff, and just ah, bless, not bless him, but Jabber, you make me so happy when I see you on the panel. I get 10 times more hype. But let's rewind and start from the beginning. So Gachi Akata, and this is gonna be anime version, cause I picked up the manga where I left off in the anime, and that was at the Jabber and Zonka second fight after they were done like laughing and stuff. But so in the anime, it starts off with this girl. I'm pretty sure it starts off with like the girl with the bunny, blah 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 blah. And I'm only gonna mention these parts if I think they'll be relevant later, but I'm not gonna go like deep dive into everything. Like this is giving podcast because I plan on like not doing much as far as editing goes. I might add in a few pictures if I want to show off some drip because gosh, y'all, they are dripped out. The manga artist who actually I will go look up and see what how to say her name because she deserves it all. She is so talented. K Orana. K Orana. Okay, K Orana. The K. K. So yeah, her art is fantastic. These y'all, the fits, even like the slum fits they have on still go hard. I have this like running joke. I'm like, to be a cleaner, you have to have a snatched waist. Like that's a part of the requirement when you sign on because, goodness gracious, bro. The whole time I was looking at Rio, I was like, oh my god, yo, waist snatched. Zonka's waist snatched. But honestly, with his fit that he was like training in, I think growing up, like it's like cinched at the waist. So like he was like bound to have that thing snatched. But that's besides the point. Let's get back to the story. So the girl with the bunny, yeah, the bunny is only important, I think, right now because it starts off this whole thing of like the trash and people not valuing things. And I wonder if this bunny will come back in the future and it'll be like something. Rudo, by the way, is the MC. Rudo has like this big attachment to it because if you guys watch the anime, you know that he tried to give that bunny to this girl. I think her name was Chiwa. It feels like her name was Chiwa. Let me make sure. Yeah, Chiwa. Okay. So he gave it to this girl named Chiwa because he had like a crush on her. I'm low key forgetting like their backstory, like where it came from. I think it's because she just was like the only person that didn't bully him, and she was nice to him because everyone, honestly, them kids are messed up. I don't know where their parents are, but they are not taking care of their kids because why is your kid out here bullying another kid and he's just trying to collect trash? Like, I know it's not like the most sanitary hobby, but I mean, come on. Look at where we're living at. Which, that's a very important topic too because, oh my god, in the anime, they do the shot where they show like the wall dividing the two sides, like the pristine, clean, whatever they're called, the city, and then we have like a whatever we're called. I think we're like the slums, but we're gonna call them the city and the slums. But that shot where it's like the wall and it's showing the division is so like such a good shot. I think that's peak cinema because it's like, dude, a wall is literally what's like differentiating. There's a y'all. I did not say that right, but what's creating the difference between the two is cities, and it's like we are like the same. Like we're all like humans, but you, whoever it is, gets to decide who goes to the slum and who lives in the pristine area, and it's just kind of like, damn, I can't even go over there just because you think I'm dirty and nasty, and you the fucking, let me stop swearing, but you're like the reason that it's dirty, for the pit specifically. We're gonna talk about that later. But because like if you go to the pit, that stuff is so nasty, like how they have like the trash storms, and it's like y'all are talking like crazy on the people in the slums when y'all just be discarding shit, just throwing shit off the side of the world. Like which also, oh, I actually do know. It's called the spear, but I'm also interested in that because I'm wonder like, what is the deal with that? Like, are they just a floating like world? How does that work? But what chapter am I on in the manga? I'll let y'all know because then we can kind of see if they explain it later. But in the manga, I'm on page or chapter. Let's see, chapter 114. So the newest one, she just did post and she said she's gonna be updating soon, but the newest one is chapter 155. So I'm almost caught up, but right now I'm not. As far as we know more, but I'll have to like think in order to remember all that I know about the spirit. But let me get back on track. This is why videos take so long because all I do is yap. All I do is yap. But yeah, we tried to get that bunny to Chiwa. We got bullied by kids, and then, oh, this is very important. Rudo has a father, a father that adopted him, right? His name is very important, so I'm gonna get it right. Rudo's father's name, GACHIAKUTA. Oh, no spoilers. Please don't tell me his biological daddy. Okay, Regto, not Regto. So Regto, right? He he adopted Rudo, and he's like the best figure in Rudo's life, the only figure in his life, someone that made him feel like cared about, and he like does a lot of things based on how do I explain it? I think how do you say, is it a moral compass? I don't know how to explain it, but like if he didn't have Recto, he would be very more unhinged, like he'd be more not as forgiving and more aggressive for sure. Like, yeah, I think he would actually go out and just like beat up everybody that did things to him and like threaten them and stuff more so than like holding it in, because Regto told him like don't hit people back. I know that was something in the anime that happened. He like asked him if he hit them and he was all like no, and Regto was like good job. And that's good raising, but if Rudo was my child and he's not good, like I would have told him if they hit you, like fucking beat their ass, because where's your parent? Their parent should have did something like teach your kid better, stop hitting on people. But that brings us to the gloves, because Rudo has this thing with his hands, right? Um, they're like there's something going on with them, but they like are very powerful and they make him feel pain whenever they're just out and about, right? So Regto, when he gave him these gloves, because like later on in the episodes it gets animated, and he looks kind of like he's not even looking at Rudo when he gives him the gloves. It's almost like he knows some shit. And y'all, I think he do know some shit, because these gloves. Is this spoiler? Okay, it's not spoilers. It's been done in the anime. These gloves are actually part of this series called Watchman. And this series, um, he like it's very like strong. I think it's like there's founding, like people who founded series or something, and the guy that founded our series, he's like besties with someone. It's important. I just don't remember right now, but the dude who made ours, he used to just walk around, just flaunting every single item. He just was making shit and just wearing that shit. Like he had drip. We meet a girl named Amo, I think her name is. Ugh, that feels right, but I'm gonna just fact check myself because she's important. Yeah, Amo. So we meet a girl named Amo. I gotta get into her story because that one is so important, so important. But we meet a girl named Amo, and she is the, I'm gonna call them carriers, but she's the boot carrier. Rudo has the gloves, and then there's this guy, y'all. There's this guy who has a mean like makeup look, y'all. Like, am I making it up? I swear he has like purple eyeliner. But the leader of the Raiders, he has this coat, and he's a freak. Like he likes eating animals like raw. Like he's weird, but he also does not have friends, and you can tell by the way he operates. But those three are the ones that we know that have items, and I'm jumping all over the place, but right now we're going to talk about this plan. So, leader of the Raiders. Okay, I'm going to figure it out his name because I feel like y'all are going to hate me if I keep calling him that. Zodal. Okay, Zodal. So, Zodal, his whole thing is he's all like, I think that if I get all of the items and I wear them, what the fuck did he say? I don't know what his plan was actually, but I think he was all like, then I'll be able to go to the spear and I won't die when you pass the barrier. Something like that. I low-key forgot because I was like staring at like probably Jabber. I don't know. But literally there's this thing which Amo is the one that introduced us, I think, to it, but she was all like, the only person that I've ever seen cross the barrier was an angel. That's important for later, y'all. That's manga spoils though, so I won't talk about it here. But basically, the leader of the Raiders is all like, hey, if we want to pass this barrier and not die, because usually you die if you try and pass it, allegedly. Because I didn't know, I don't think I've seen that happen yet. But he was all like, yeah, I'm gonna collect these so that we can do it. And he was trying to like team up with Rudo. But Rudo was like, no, like you're evil and I've got friends and family to live for. I'm not about to like mess this all up so that I can aid you in getting to the spear. Plus, like, Rudo will do it his own way. Miles Morales type shit. But let's rewind again. So Rudo ends up getting framed. Oh my god, I skipped this. Y'all, not Regto gets killed. Moment of silence. So while Rudo is giving that special bunny that we mentioned earlier to Chiwa out by the pit, Recto is in the house getting stabbed the fuck up. And this is important for later, y'all. I know spoilers, so I won't mention it, but I know the bitch that did this. But part I want to mention from here is I feel like no one talks about it, or the people that do talk about it, maybe I just haven't seen. But when he went into the house, Rudo, and he's like trying to find Recto, and he's about to say it, the person that killed Recto had Recto's face on, right? Like, he can shapeshift. I say he just in a general term, y'all, like with no spoilers. I'm not trying to spoil or anything. I'm just using he as just a general term. But like, I'll use they. But they can like shapeshift basically or whatever is what I was thinking, right? But I feel like that's important to remember for later. Just in case, keep that in the head. So that happens, and this is important. The person that did that was coming here to get a book. And guess what this book has? It has the logo of the Watchman series on it. So the book belongs to someone. But keep in mind, Regto is the one that had this book. Why does Regto have the Watchman series leader's logo book? Okay. And I'm not going to speak anymore on that because there are spoilers attached. But anyways, fast forward, Rudo ends up getting framed for the murder of Regto. What a shame. And they didn't even investigate. They were like, you know what? I fucking hate this kid. Let's get his ass in the pit already. So they were jumping at the opportunity. So they take him, get him all hooked up to the pit, which is like a scary contraption, y'all. Like, when I saw it for the first time in the anime, I was like, oh my goodness, this looks like some saw trap stuff, low key. Like, they put your arms and stuff, and it's like, if they pull too hard, like, they could rip your limbs off. But even worse, they fling you in the air, and like, you get literally like yeeted into the sky before you literally drop and plummet into like a big thing of trash. And I think usually you die, they say. Like, usually people don't survive. But Rudo has that dog in him, and he's MC, so a little bit of armor there, and he ends up surviving. But also, he's super strong. Like, literally, y'all, his first day out there, he's fighting Trash Beast. He's never done this before. Why is he winning? But then eventually he's all like, holy shit, they're trying to jump me. Because 3 come up and they're trying to jump him. And one's like huge. But then we get saved by a guy with an umbrella. And this guy, just straight swag, y'all. So swaggy. He's got tattoo galore. His haircut, nah, I'm gonna let it slide since he makes it look good. But he has this haircut. He has like a scar. He has yellow eyes. Like, he is what a leader should be. I feel like when I look at him, like if they were in a crowd of people and I was looking at the ground, I'd be able to tell he was the leader. But this guy's name is Injin. And it's spelled super cool. It's spelled super cool. Like, when I was looking up his name, I was like, wait, this is not how I was thinking. It's spelled super cool. But Injin, he has this like umbrella, and he explains everything to Rudo. He's all like, yes, how does Rudo sound? Or not Rudo. Injin sounds cool in like both of them, but in the dub he sounds very cool, and I can't remember right now how to do it. So we're gonna just give him any voice. But Rudo or Injin's all like, yeah, so we're a group called like the Cleaners, and if you have a special instrument, vital, yes, if you have a vital instrument and you give it lots and lots of love, you can make it work for you. He says something, y'all. He was saying something. He basically explained how a vital instrument works. And Rudo's like, huh? It stinks down here. Like, I need mask. So Injin gives him a mask. They go do something. I'm gonna skip past this very quickly because don't care too long to stay on it. But Injin does a little test on Rudo because he's like, oh, like, I need to see your, like, drive. So he drops him off at some place with these, like, dudes that want to sell his body parts and stuff. And Rudo's a crash out, y'all. He was eating trash and shit, but hey, I feel you. Um, those people end up getting beat, but one of them ends up getting taken captive by Mr. Jabber, who is a raider, and that's how we first get introduced to the raiders. But blah blah. Moving on, Injin realizes that Rudo is really about that, and he's that guy. So he takes him, and he's all like, "Hey, I'm gonna have you get taught by the best of the best." And that's where we meet Mr. Aura himself, the prettiest person. I haven't met everybody, but he's quite pretty to me. But I love Zonka. Oh, that's who we're meeting, by the way, Zonka. I think Zonka is so cool. I'm gonna need a whole nother section to talk about him. His story, because it did get animated, but his backstory so far that I know is just so good. And it's like a relatable story, I feel like, to a lot of people. So I'm going to talk about him. And when I talk about Jabber, a lot of what I'm going to say about Jabber will be theories and stuff and just me yapping because from what I've read so far, I don't know too much about his backstory. But Zonka, at least I know a bit. But yeah, we meet Zonka and we're basically told that Zonka will be teaching Rudo. But we haven't really seen him much besides like the back of his head at this point. They go into the city because Rudo needs to get like medical treatment. We meet this woman who's like been in the business for so long. She treats Rudo. She'll be important for later because there's some characters that have a relation to her. But basically, after Rudo gets treated, they go eat and something, and Injin's all like, take this money, like, go do what you want to do. The money's shit that he got from selling off Rudo's stuff, like his clothes. And Rudo ends up getting, like, robbed by a cat. And the cat goes down this alley. Rudo catches it, but he uses, like, this stick to catch the cat. And, bitch, Rudo, that don't even look like a normal stick. I don't know why would you, whatever. He grabs it, and this dude ends up approaching him, and he's all like, what do you say? He's all like, didn't anyone teach you not to take people's property? Or something like that. Yo, he says something. He has so many good one-liners, y'all. He fucking says, can y'all lock in later in it? And then he says, like, all that this told me is that your daddy didn't raise you well. And that's what tips off Rudo, but we're getting there. This guy whose stick got stolen ends up being Zonka. And we know Zonka is supposed to be Rudo's teacher. So Rudo's all like, oh my god, wait, let me try and defuse the situation because, like, this is clearly, like, this stick is, like, very important to this guy. So, like, if my gloves got taken, I'd be kind of pressed. So he tries to defuse it, but he ends up being very bad at it because he's, like, this guy, he has, like, resting, like, mad face. So he just looks a mess when he tries to smile. And Zonka took that as, like, I don't know, he kind of took it wrong, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and like a threat. And so they get to squabbling, but then Rudo picks up this plunger, and Zonka is so funny. Injin describes him as the closest thing the ground gets to something. Basically, call him bougie, okay? He's basically a bougie bitch. And he's all like, dude, get that fucking poop plunger away from me. Like, you're playing too much. Like, let's call it off. Like, it's okay. But Rudo doesn't know what a plunger is. And he's all like, dude, shut the fuck up and fight me. So they're chasing each other. The anime does a great job at this scene. And it's just so funny. But it ends with Zonka getting defeated with the plunger. Injin meets up with them. He's laughing his ass off while he's driving them because Yeah, they're both very embarrassed right now. But we end up finding someone new inside of this truck car thing that Engine drives. And it is the one, the only Rio. And Rio, y'all, she deserves a section of her own too. She's so cool. She's so cool. Y'all, like their main cast is like the swaggiest fucking main cast. Like very swaggy. Um I love a lot of main cast, but I like theirs a decent amount because I think they're all so cool in their own way. Like none of them really need to depend on another person in the group to be cool, if that makes sense. Like if they were a solo, I think people would still love them. Is basically what I'm saying. And every single one of them has that. Like if it was a like solo Zonka arc, I'd be eating it up. Solo Rio arc, eating it up. Solo Rudo arc, every arc we get, we got Rudo. Solo Engine arc, that's fantastic. Please, like, they don't miss. All of her characters in this series have such good lore to them that they're all made very interestingly. Even the villains, which we will get into, just fantastic, y'all, fantastic. But this is going on like 30 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it here and then I'll get to yapping like the next time I feel like yapping. But I feel like we stopped at a good place. We've met the four main people of the cast, and then next we'll get into what comes after that. But yeah, I'll be back eventually, and then whenever I'm done with the anime caught up to what y'all know, then I'll go into like manga spoiler zone because, like I said, so much happens in the manga.